Hello and welcome, I am Darcy Bits, and today we are continuing into part 3 of Gods of Winter, our set based off of Theros Beyond Death, to be our first set in the block based off of Theros block. Very excited to see how this goes. We are moving into the latter half of the blue cards. We might make it further. Who could possibly say? Let's get started. First, we have Diabolic Blessing, a 4-mana creature. Interesting. It's a pharexian cleric, a 1/3, and they have the activated ability for a blue, tap target creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Ooh, targeted freeze like that. That's cool, actually. Ooh, I like that a lot. It's very expensive for its body, but I think that activated ability, like a repeatable, like as many times as you have mana, is actually very cool and very blue. I like this a lot. Is it too strong? I don't know. Is it too weak? I don't know. I try not to judge too much on that because I'm bad. But I like the design. It's very cool. Just the sight of that filthy impurity has inspired the worship of its power in my people. Tiamat, Throne of the Eternals. Oh, snap. What happened? So, Phyrexian Cleric, okay. Tiamat. The sight of that filthy impurity is inspired the worship of its power in my people. That's Phyrexia, right? That's the filthy impurity. I mean, Phyrexia is both pure and not pure. It's this gross, oily thing. But it's also like perfection or whatever. Dreamwalk Octopus. It's not an octopus. It is an illusion, though. We have illusions in this set already, if I recall correctly, so that's fun. Dreamwalk Octopus is a 3-mana 2/2 illusion. It has flying. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Ooh, more life gain. Alright, cool. I'm into life gain payoff. I mean, I actually kind of hate life gain payoff because I've been on the receiving end of it too often, and it sucks. And having this be like a targeted +1 counter, not just like on itself, is very scary, although often you're going to put it on itself because it's got an evasive body anyway. Very cool. And probably not that scary in blue, so I think I'd prefer to see it in blue, honestly. This is the beach that is often confused with the beach where you dig for sunken treasure. It is just as far away. Marg, Jungle Herald. Weird. Good card. Lull Mage Guild Mage is a 3-mana 1/2 enchantment creature nymph. Interesting. It has flash, okay. When Lull Mage Guild Mage enters the battlefield, draw a card. Huh. So, instant speed, 3 mana to draw a card, and create a 1/2 blocker. That seems reasonable. And it's an enchantment if that matters. Yeah, no, cool. I'm into it. When rats run out of spores, they still run their little legs, flailing for all they're worth. Oops. Warmongering Savagery. 3-mana instant. Cast this spell only during the declare attacker's step, and only if you've been attacked this step. Okay, I think that's appropriate, right? So, your opponent attacks you during the declare attacker step. I guess after they've declared the attackers, but before the step has ended. I guess that's appropriate. Target creature gets +2/+2 and lifelink until end of turn. It seems pretty bad. 3 mana for +2/+2 and lifelink while you, like, but you can only really do it if you're blocking, basically. I mean, I'll allow it, you know. It's weird. I don't know. It feels weird. But sure. With the world's balance tipped ever so slightly in his favor, Zagana steered a wary course, leaving the bandit's lair she briefly abandoned. I'm not into, like, I don't know. I talk about it too much, and I really shouldn't waste time on it, but rerolling rules are hard and weird, and it's going to be arbitrary. Sometimes you gotta leave something even if you think it's not that interesting. Nether Avon is a 5-mana 3/2 with flying, and tap add blue. Huh. I mean, a 5-mana 3/2 with flying is, like, pretty bad, but... Okay. They could use a nether wind to wipe away the icy gray smog of despair that now covers the fierce... What? Firestall skies. I mean, I don't know how you pronounce that, but that is... Is that unique? I wonder if it's referencing an actual existing thing in Magic or not. If it isn't, okay. There's something interesting there. I just like lore tidbits to sort of grasp onto. Doesn't seem to be an existing thing, so we have a unique new faction? Country? I don't know. Winter's Veil is a 2-mana sorcery. Destroy all lands. There it is. It's been a while since I've seen the AI make a just completely stupidly pushed land destruction card. Been a while. It was the time of cold, long winters. Only those who believed in a power greater than the cold and snow, and who feared neither its return nor its death, would dare face it. Goodbye, Winter's Veil. Also, we're in black! I just noticed! Okay! There weren't very many blue cards left, it turns out. We are into our first black card. And what was the first thing it did? It said, destroy all lands. Setting off a good tone for the start of the black set. Ooh, let's go. Cursed by Ice is a 2-mana sorcery in black for a generic and a black. Target player draws 3 cards. That's just straight up sorcery speed, draw 3 for 2. I'll allow it. I want this card. Is it pushed? Yes. Is it not instant speed, making it technically have... It's still very strong. But I don't care. It's not like the most stupidly pushed thing we've seen, and I like black, so... Time to be biased. Anyway. As their winters get longer, the people of Kessig stop laughing and start praying. Okay, so we're getting into this, like, oh, this is not just winter time. This is some kind of eternal winter that people are trapped in. Ooh, very cool. And there's, like, some kind of praying to the winter gods. Gods of winter, stop this madness. Very, very cool. Cons of Tarkir, the wind's favor. Ah! Is this actually a 2-mana spell? I'm not 100% sure. Give me a second. This is a legendary enchantment creature. It is 1 and a black. No mana cost has been cut off, despite the long name. The question becomes, is it appropriate to have a card named Cons of Tarkir? These are the Cons of Tarkir. Here they are. We found them. The Wind's Favor. A 2-mana black legendary enchantment creature god with flying. For a generic and a black, create a 1/1 black pharexian fish. Creature token with flying. This is very cool and very good. And I think I'm gonna re-roll it on Flavor Grounds. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna. Maybe I shouldn't, right? Let the AI do what the AI does. Ooh, I'm torn. As Khans of Tarkir's own luck swirled and gusted, the snow stopped falling, and the ice turned to steam. I'm re-rolling it on Flavor Grounds. I don't feel good about it. I don't. Pharexian. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone forever. It's too late. Malachite Reaver is a 2-mana legendary enchantment creature god. It is a 2/2. It is indestructible. Okay, this is appropriate for a god. When Malachite Reaver enters the battlefield, exile all enchantments, which would include itself. When Malachite Reaver leaves the battlefield, return all enchantments to their owner's hand. So this is 2-mana exile all enchantments. At sorcery speed. I'm not saying that's not playable. I'm saying for our first legendary enchantment creature, I want something different. Maybe I'm being petty. He slew dragons with lightning. And I also want a name. You know, a name that feels... Ugh! We can do better. We can do better. We deserve better. Tiberium Agathione. That's... okay. 2-mana, 2/1, legendary enchantment creature zombie, indestructible. As long as Tiberium Agathione is equipped. I don't know if there's going to be any equipment in this set. It has, whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, destroy that creature and you lose 1 life. Those who fear of the horrors of war runs... what? Those whose fear of the horrors of war runs so deep that they themselves become monsters. I'm going to try one more time, and we're just going to live with it. And I'm going to regret having said this. Oh, come on. Provocata. I don't know how to pronounce that. Ojitai Harvester is a 2-mana legendary enchantment creature nymph. It has flying. It is a 1/1. For 3 mana, that's 2 generic and a black, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Nymphs never eat cake alone. I like the idea of a legendary enchantment nymph. That's cool. I like that a nymph can find you lands. That's cool. I like that the name of the card has the traditional legendary creature structure. I feel like I built this up too much. I probably should have gone with Khans of Tarkir, as weird as that was, with the pharexian fish. I love fish. I should have been so excited about that pharexian fish. And here we are. Welcome, Provocata. May you harvest well. Let's move on. Chillmaggle is a 4-mana enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3, has lifelink, and when enchanted creature dies, you gain 3 life. Kind of expensive, but it checks out. Its chillstone calls forth cold from the deepest, darkest core of its people's collective mind. Malachite Consulate. 6 mana, black, 4/4 pharexian cleric. Alright, pharexians, they are solidly in this set. It has menace for black and discarding a card. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. You know, in any other set, I'd think that's very strong. There are much cheaper ways of buffing your entire team in this set. Yeah, I mean, I think it checks out. The Malachite only power. Oh, in Malachite, only power is sacred. Only fear is merciful. Baba Vasa. Conspiracy theorist. Alright. Savage Instinct for a black is an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may reveal a blue creature you control. Wait, control? So like you point at it on the battlefield? I don't think this is appropriate. I should probably reroll this one. Savage Instinct deals 2 damage to that creature. The creature must be blocked this kind. Yeah, okay, this is just completely broken. They feasted on the screams of their own deaths. That is... Frostbrand is a 1 mana black instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Destroy target non-black creature. Huh. Yeah, that checks out. Right? I don't think it needs to say non-black on it. I think that's unnecessarily limiting, but great. A stray bolt of winter's breath burned brightly in the night, and soon the heat followed. Cool. I'm into it. Swamp Slime is a 2 mana 1/1 horror. Okay. When Swamp Slime enters the battlefield, you lose 1 life. So it's a 2 mana 1/1 that pings you for 1 when it ETBs. That's not good. It oozes through the undergrowth of Yavimaya like a monstrous oil slick, leaving a thick layer of slime that feeds other creatures in its wake. That is so cool. I'm very into that. And I'm gonna reroll it. I just think it's unplayable, right? Adarkar Wastes Scab is a 2 mana Goblin Scout? Okay, it's a 2 mana 2/2 Goblin Scout with Death Touch. Whenever another non-token creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control. Okay, so this is busted. I've seen this effect in a previous game in which I played against my partner, and I didn't realize how busted it was when I played it, because it doesn't say a non-token creature you control. Additionally, it's just super strong. Obviously, if you kill the Goblin Scout, then it's still alive. Like then it's dead. So maybe that one that I am thinking of didn't say another, so it would actually resurrect itself or something. Because it just seemed like completely unbeatable. This might be a bit more beatable, but yeah. I think we have to reroll this one. It's very strong for only 2 mana. Then again, I have some very strong cards in this set. I'm going to reroll it. For his trench, Scabo used bones of a dead adventurer to light his home, and he burned its bones every night. Aw, Scabo sounds cool. Scabo, the Goblin Scout. Darkling Thrall is a 2 mana 2/1 Thrall. It's vanilla but with flavor text, which says, only when he was close to the cold stone fortress did the thralls know they had a purpose. Now that they knew their purpose, they knew their hatred for those who still ruled them. Dang. I actually like vanilla creatures. I think they can be fun and well designed. This is unfortunately a 2/1 for 2. Black is giving me so much trouble. Conclave Sojourners is a 2-mana 1/2 human shaman. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. Ooh, there we go. Is this stronger than some of the other ones that we rolled past? Maybe. Card draw is powerful. But when Bloodthirst When Bloodthirst leads a doomed house to seize the crown, even the soul's sworn enemies seek shelter from the storm. I'll allow it. Doomtide is a 4-mana black instant. Destroy target enchantment. Cycling black. Okay! It's kind of expensive, but it's got cycling, so it's not the worst. Like, if you need to use it to destroy an enchantment, you do. If you don't need to use it to destroy an enchantment, you can cycle it. Yeah! Let's just double check that cycling is worded correctly. Black, discard this card, draw a card. Oh, there's more text. I didn't see that. When you cycle Doomtide, target opponent discards 2 cards. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's very good. Ooh, do I allow this? I think I do. 1 mana. Draw a card. Your opponent discards 2 cards. That is gross. I love it. A Mind Flayer thinks only of the rush of power. Cold Connection is a 4-mana black instant. Choose 1. There's only one option. Choose 1. Target player reveals their hand, and you choose a non-land card from it. Exile that card, then that player discards a card. Ooh. For 4 mana, that seems expensive. The templating of choose 1 and there's only one option feels stupid. But, as an effect, just, you get to choose a card, it gets exiled, not discarded, and it discards a card. So this is 4 mana, discard 2, one of which you get to choose and goes into exile instead. That's very cool. For 4 mana, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think I'll allow it. Yeah. There's no justice in the mountains. There's no power here. No real glory. I mean, maybe we'll get some cool discard payoff in black. That'd be really fun. Obviously, you'd rather play that other card, but whatever. Evisa First Hunter. Dragonfire Cowl is a 3-mana black enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature has flying. For 3 mana, regenerate enchanted creature. Yeah, that sounds great. Dragonfire Cowl? Cool. Cool name. Some evil forces in the human heart burn for revenge. I'm not sure if that's evil, but okay. Kothafed Harpy. Ooh. Is a 6-mana, 5/5 enchantment creature. I guess there are I guess a lot of the Harpies are enchantment creatures, aren't they? The ones I can think of are. It has flying. As long as you control an island, Kothafed Harpy has flying. This is a 6-mana, 5/5 enchantment creature with flying. I think that's playable. I mean, there are stronger cards, but I think that's okay. Especially if it's, archetypical to be well, we need enchantment creatures, there's some benefit. So far, there's not a benefit, honestly. It's mostly a drawback, but let's ignore that for now. And, yeah. Yeah, this seems like a decent common body. Assuming there was support for the archetype, right? Yeah. Weary of countless battles? Weary of parading your strength before these false deities? They will soon learn the fate of their divine brothers. For Kothafed is bored with them. I kind of messed up the end of that, but yeah. For Kothafed is bored with them. Adventurer's Journal. It'll do. Annotator Baku is a 4-mana legendary enchantment creature goblin 1/4. Tap, add green or white. Interesting. It's not enough. Nope. We're back here. We're back at the legendary enchantment creatures. You gotta have something cool. It's gotta be cool. I gotta re-roll these. I don't know. It's in me. When something happened to him, he responds by shuffling the books he carries, noting whether they fall open or shut. Annotator Baku. Lord of Seasons is a 4-mana, 4/5 legendary enchantment creature god. It reads, kicker. I don't know what the cost of the kicker is. It's cut off. Lord of Seasons enters the battlefield with a weather foil counter on it if it's a creature and has counters on it. What? If it's not a creature, it enters the battlefield with a number of weather foil counters on it equal to its mana value. Okay. If it's a creature with weather foil counters on it, it gains vigilance. Apathy, Enemy of the Mind, is a 4-mana 3/3 legendary enchantment creature Gorgon. For black, regenerate target creature. Huh. 4-mana 3/3 Gorgon. Regenerate any creature for a single black. That's pretty powerful, I think. As the blind god was driven from Ikos. Is that an A or an O? Ikos? I think it's Ikos. The only place left was his throne room, his arena, and his reflection. This is wild. I'll allow it. Let's move on. An X card. These always take so long because I always want the X to be used. Pollen Plague, X and black for an instant. Destroy target enchantment or creature. Overload, black. You may cast this spell for its overload cost. If you do, change its text by replacing all instances of target with each. And overload replaces, it's not additional, right? So that's just 2 mana, destroy each creature or enchantment. Now that I think about that, I don't know if that functions with the or. How do you destroy each creature or enchantment? Weird. Either way, X is not used. I'm not even going to worry about it. With the blessing of Ulvenwald, you now see through all illusions. Well, not with this card you don't. Dazzling Gorgon. Okay! We've got Gorgons in black. Let's go. Dazzling Gorgon is a X and a black for an instant. Creatures you control get +X until end of turn, where X is Dazzling Gorgon's power. Crap! Dang it! It could have just stopped at end of turn and it would have been a very strong pump spell. The elves shudder in the presence of even the thought of death. Ooh, that's interesting. Let's try again. Hornet Strike. X and a black for an instant. Hornet Strike deals X damage to target creature. I mean, it functions. It's just boring. When Olivibson tapped it out for repairs, his people hoped he had a plan for this accursed stone. We deserve better. I mean, it's only X and black. It can't be that powerful. Yeah, I know, but just... I'm not even reading it. Next! You can pause and read it if you want. Absolute Drift, X and black. Cast this spell only during the declare blocker step. Divide X by 2. You may play that many additional lands. What? What? Ever? For the rest of the game? You have a number of additional lands you can play for the rest of the game that you can just be like, yeah. On this turn, I will choose to play an additional land. That's actually kind of a cool idea, actually. Like, now that I say that out loud, I'm laughing, but, like, the idea of being like, this card gives you 5 additional land plays for the rest of the game. You may choose to spend them whenever you wish. Huh. Weird. I don't think this functions, but I kind of like that idea. I'd like to see how a properly worded card would use that effect, and how you would balance it. Ooh, that's like an interesting task for like a custom design folk. When the world around you becomes terrifying, simply push into the void. Maliki. God's Rage. X and black, kicker, generic, and black. Create X 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. If this didn't have kicker, this card would be fine. More spirit tokens. We're seeing those a bunch in the set. Do not attempt to train your mind in meditation. Go with the spirit. Do I allow this kicker? I don't think I do. I think we're going to try again. Is that card good? Sure. Is it super interesting? Not necessarily. Convoke? Oh, that could be interesting. Thrash of Frost. X and black for an instant with Convoke. Your creatures can help cast this spell. Each creature you tap while casting this spell, it pays for 1 generic or 1 mana of that creature's color, which is super interesting for an X spell. Does it land? Thrash of Frost deals X damage to target creature, and you gain X life, where X is the mana value of Thrash of Frost. It's, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is 2 mana. Thrash of Frost deals 2 damage. You gain 2 life. I think that's correct. That had so much potential. Wicker Witches flailed at the intruders with a bit of haste. Just a bit of haste. Abandon Hope. Oh no, the cards are talking to me. X and black for an instant. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice X creatures. Abandon Hope deals X damage for to each creature and each player. Huh. Interesting. I think I love this, actually. I'm not sure what the going rate for this effect should be, but if this just said X and black, deal damage, that's very, very scary. Just X and black do damage to everything, right? The idea that probably you're going to wrath your entire board in the process anyway, but maybe you won't, right? Maybe you've got maybe you won't. Huh. You have to be able to... I don't know if this card is playable. I don't know if it's strong. I don't know if it's weak. But it's very flavorful. And that gets it in my books. The will to fight and survive is in their blood as much as the blood of their enemies. Let's go. Thawing Wave is a 5-mana black instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. That is very expensive. But it has flashback, generic and black, and pay 2 life, and tap. You can't... What? You can't tap. There's nothing to tap. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battle. Okay, so it doesn't really have flashback anyway. And even if it did, you wouldn't be able to tap it to... Okay. The very land of Vidu-Ghazi thaws under the warmth of the sun. Where are we? Eldrazi Oceans was really fun because I imagined it being this, like, interplanar ocean that connected planes and things sort of leaked into. I have no idea what's going on here. Omen of Wilderness is a 5-mana black instant. Untap target creature and gain control of it until end of turn. Untap that creature. You lose life equal to its toughness. The worst threaten ever! Do not fear, these rights shall be our salvation. Tarkir tail. Tarkir's back. Savage Instincts is a 5-mana instant. Target creature you control gets +4/+4 until end of turn. Untap it. It gets +3/+3 until end of turn. So obviously the templating here is dumb, unless there's something that cared about, like, whenever it gains toughness or something. I don't know. It's 2 instances. That's 5 mana, untap a creature, and give it +7. I don't know if that is well priced, but it's pretty cool. I killed her on sight, of course, but that does not mean she is dead to me. Nikia of the Old Ways. I'm actually kind of into that. Have we seen Nikia before? That name sounds so familiar. Huh. What are our themes in black so far? We had a little bit of discard at the beginning. I guess it's too early to tell. Frost Meltdown is a 1-mana black sorcery. As additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature. We also have sacrificing as a cost, so we might want to get some token generators. There was one earlier, but you re-rolled it. You gain life equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness. That's not great, but it's also, like... I can see that card being printed in black. This card would be really cool if it was instant, though. But at sorcery, this is pretty bad. At this time of year, the paths of ice and fire converge in an inevitable conflict. I guess you could do something like use that last card to buff something by 7, punch face, and then in your second main sacrifice it, because the temporary buff is going away anyway, right? Yeah, that's kind of cool. Down to the Last War is a 3-mana black sorcery. Reveal the top 3 cards of your library. Put all creature cards revealed this way into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. Interesting. Often you want creatures in your graveyard, Not so much instants and sorceries, unless you're doing like a blue-black, not sorry, blue-black, like a blue-red spell slinger sort of thing. So just not usually a black thing that you care about. But occasionally you got like flashback and stuff and disturb, so that's maybe relevant. Otherwise, you know, just drawing 3 would be better than this. Although, obviously that's... I'm only saying this because we saw a card that does that, that's already in this set. But, you know, this can be a weaker version of that card, I guess. No, this is a time for unity. Let us defeat the dreadful things of old and make a better future for all. Zana, Weatherlight Liberator. Down to the last war. Gotta get some new recruits. Devoted Wanderer is a 5-mana black 2/2 enchantment creature Shade. Shade is such a weird creature type. It just... Why aren't they just spirits? I don't understand. It has Flash. When Devoted Wanderer enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-land card from your graveyard. When you do, draw a card. Huh. 5 mana instant speed, 2/2 blocker with Flash. I guess I already said instant speed. 5 mana instant speed, 2/2 blocker, draw a card. We saw this earlier, didn't we? But it was much cheaper. Is this okay? Would I run this in limited? Five mana, instant speed, 2/2. Draw a card. I don't think I would, but I think somebody might. I'm going to keep it. I don't think it is unplayable. Yeah, draw a card is, like, worth a lot. I kind of always... I mean, it is a card, so it's not really drawing... Whatever. And just, like, having a gem blocker is nice. Blade Slinger Brute is a 5-mana black vampire soldier. It's a 2/2 for 5 with lifelink. Whenever another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on Blade Slinger Brute. Whew. It's whenever another creature, not another creature you control, so that's a big deal. It starts very small for 5 mana, but I think this is going to grow pretty fast, especially if you're sacrificing things, right? If we've got a self-sacrifice deck going on here, it doesn't say it's non-token either. Like, this could get very big. Yeah, I think this is what we're going for. Not that I'm, like, going for things. I'm re-rolling when I think that they're... I don't know. I obviously have no rules for my re-rolling, but it's not like I'm going to keep re-rolling until we, like, make a perfect combo. But what I can see happening with this set could be sacrificing mattering for payoffs like this, right? Just to help you get that first start, like you spend 5 mana, sacrifice something so it comes into play as like a 3/3 lifelinker, and then it'll continue to grow from there. Yeah. He gave his last blood to give others their first taste of freedom. Ooh. I don't know what that means, but it sounds interesting. The Pharexians are back. Pharexian Malignant is a 1-mana, 1/1 Pharexian zombie. Whenever Pharexian Malignant becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to each creature blocking it. Do you become blocked only once? I think so, right? You declare blockers, that is becoming blocked. There is no, like, I block you with this one, then this one. There's no order to the blockers. It's not like it's gonna ping the first one for 1, then the second one and the first one for 1, and then the third one and the second one and the first one for 1. This is a 1/1 for 1 that pings anything blocking it, so it trades favorably. It's very cool. I like it. It's a nice little common critter. He always knows just when to raise his leg, when to scratch, when to charge. Cool. Pharexian zombie. Celestial Enforcer is a 1-mana 1/1 enchantment creature, Aetherborn. Don't see that often. It has protection from black. Okay. For 3 mana, prevent the next 1 damage that will be dealt to you this turn. Huh. We saw an Aetherborn previously, if I recall correctly. Did it also have, like, protection from itself? Like, was it a white Aetherborn that had protection from white? That might have happened. I don't remember. I'm so tempted to reroll this. But, like, it's a 1-mana 1/1 with upside. Like, what? Yeah, that's reasonable. It's not... It shouldn't be pushed. It's a 1-mana card. It's fine. When Envoy from Chill claims a hostage, reveal the top card of your... This is flavor text, I should say. The flavor text says, when Envoy from Chill, which is not the name of this card, claims a hostage, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, Envoy gains, when this creature dies, exile it. I was gonna say, dang, the flavor text is a cooler creature than this is, but actually, no, it sounds like it's going somewhere interesting, and then it's just like, no, this creature just, like, exiles itself. It's not good. I'm gonna allow it. Let's move on. I gotta not waste too much time. We got a lot of ground to cover. Shattered Crest is a 3-mana aura. It has enchant creature. Enchanted creature has tap. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This sucks. Worst case scenario, you have, like, I don't know, maybe a card that generates tokens. So it doesn't, like, cost a card in your hand. You've got, like, onboard things generating tokens. So you've got, like, a 1-mana 1/1 or whatever that didn't cost you a card in hand. You spend an additional 3 mana to put this on it, risking that if that token ever goes away, this thing goes into the graveyard too. And then that little 1/1 can tap to give a 1... This is... I don't like it enough to keep it. That's all I can say. Those who succumbed to despair on Krosa found peace in another place. Winter Sanctuary is a 3-mana enchantment. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, put a 1/1 counter on it. Well, that's cool and probably irrelevant, right? Like, when is your stuff being targeted by your opponent? When they're killing it. The only time this is relevant if they're killing it with, like, exact damage, and it's like, okay, I got a 3/3, and you need to do 4 damage to it, because if you do 3 damage to it, it'll become a 4/4, right? Before damage. That is such a fringe scenario. Now, if this was just, like, whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell or ability, that would be kind of interesting, but it's an opponent controls. I guess it's also kind of like, there are situations when your opponent wants to target something, and they're not going to kill it. So what this is, right? This is ward... put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Effectively, right? Effectively, that's what it is. Except there's no option to have it be countered instead. And, like, all your stuff has ward, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. It's certainly interesting. I don't think it's good. Because you have no control of what your opponent does, right? It's so cool, though. Like, I am always hesitant to reroll a card that is interesting. Do you know what I mean? When ice meets the trees, warmth becomes the new cold. Like, just because I can't think of a way to make this card useful does not mean it couldn't be. I don't think it could be, because you are not your opponent, unless you're, like, mind-slavering them or something, but you're not going to do that. That's, like, kind of ridiculous. Well, I'm gonna allow it. Shatter Skull Giant is a 2-mana enchantment creature giant. It's a vanilla 3/1. Dang it. I was so excited for Shatter Skull Giant. It had never met an adversary more than twice its size. I mean, okay. So the implication there is that it's met adversaries like twice its size, which is not, like, an impressive thing to say. White Lantern is a 2-mana enchantment creature shapeshifter. Ooh, that's interesting. It's a 1/1 with at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control 3 or more white permanents, transform White Lantern. We can't do transform cards. Some revelers who've traveled far and wide are drawn back by the white fires of Rhyme's Ward. That is so cool. It's like, here is a weird black-white payoff. That is so interesting. But we don't have the other side. We don't know what it transforms into. Can't allow it. Oh, that's so cool. That's cool. I like that. Magmadar Frostwalker. Oh, now we get a legendary style name. Okay. Is a 2-mana 3/1 enchantment creature ogre with first strike. When Magmadar enters the battlefield, sacrifice a creature. I don't think it's so strong that it needs the additional cost of sacrificing something, but could be cool. Whenever Magmadar attacks, if defending player sacrifices a creature, you draw a card, and Magmadar deals 1 damage to that creature's controller. So, assuming that this gives your opponent a, like, when this attacks, your opponent may choose to sacrifice a creature. If they do, draw a card and deal a damage to them. If we assume that's how this functions, which I don't even know if it is, they're just never gonna do that! The question I need to ask myself is, if this was just a 2-mana 3/1 with first strike ETB sack up creature, would I play it? And I don't know. Like, if it didn't have to sack something on ETB, I think I would pay for a 2-mana 3/1 first strike. I think I would play that. Sacrifice is quite a cost, but we could maybe turn it into an upside, but it's not really the time. Like, there's gonna be better sack outlets. I'm gonna re-roll it. He makes a game of his own. Fiery Regulator is a 2-mana 2/1 enchantment creature Goblin Shaman. They look rad. They're cool. When Fiery Regulator enters the battlefield, sacrifice another creature. Okay. When Fiery Regulator leaves the battlefield, return a creature you control to its owner's hand. This card sucks. He gathers fire, but also warmth. We can do better! Ooh. Apex of Hordes is a 2-mana enchantment creature cat spirit. It's a 2/2. Whenever you cast a black spell, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. That is so strong. Do I allow this? Come on. That's so strong. It has a soul like few others. 2-mana, 2/2. When you cast a black spell, you may put a creature from your hand onto the battlefield. I can imagine myself running this and, like, never having anything useful in my hand. Like, I'm, like, hellbent and I'm like, well, I top deck this creature and I can cast the creature and I have nothing to cheat out. Like, that's what would happen to me. I made a similar card like this once where it could only hit goblins, and that felt like a really good regulator because goblins kind of cap out at a certain mana value, but, like, this is going to drop some gross things on the battlefield, you can tell. I'm going to allow it because I am the worst. Let's go. Malachite Idol is a 3-mana aura. Enchant creature. When Malachite Idol enters the battlefield, return target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Huh. 3 mana, return an enchantment from your graveyard to your hand. Sorcery speed. I think this is bad. For every case where our time with you is taken, our master will have only a second to look at us, and a third to dispose of us. That's not what second means. Merchant Ven Akura. I was like, a third? What does that mean? A second, a third. Blood Rites is a 3-mana enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. Also, the enchantment itself has, as an activated ability, sacrifice a creature. Blood Rites deals 2 damage to any target. This is gross. This is strong and scary, and I like it. The rising tide drives out the tides. I talked about this before, but I'm actually really into the idea of, like, very powerful enchantments that require a body, right? You don't play this because you want +1/+1 and lifelink. You play this because you want sacrifice a creature, deal 2 damage to any target. I mean, they're both useful effects, don't get me wrong, but, like, the idea of saying, if this was just an enchantment that said, sacrifice a creature, deal 2 damage to any target, that'd be strong. Putting it on a body, saying, like, you have to have a creature in play, and if that creature leaves the battlefield, this goes with it, is such an interesting design space of, like, we want to make enchantments that need to be carried around, right? Like, but will shatter if the person holding them dies. Like, I'm so into that. I think that's so cool. Ugh. The rising tide drives out the tides. Draconic Shredder is a 2-mana Lizard Warrior. Cool. This is a 1/1. As long as it's your turn, Draconic Shredder gets +1/+1 and has double strike. Okay. I'm going to Scryfall for this one. 2-mana, 2/2 with double strike. How scary is that? I love this. For a few reasons. One, I'm probably attacking with my double striker, so Cool. 2, I think Double Strike shouldn't work when you're blocking. I think Double Strike is stupid in defense. I hate it so much. You shouldn't get to use it when you're blocking. Nah. Obviously it works. Obviously it has, like, strategic use case. Like, it's a very powerful effect. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like it, and every time I play against Double Strike, I forget that my opponent gets it on their turn. You should only get it on your turn. So, as long as it's your turn, it has Double Strike, is very up my alley. Let's take a look at Scryfall. Alright, what's the going rate for a creature with Double Strike? 3 mana, Double Strike, an additional effect. 2 mana, 2/2 with Double Strike, but only when they have Metalcraft. Okay. 3 mana for a 2/2 with Double Strike, but they also have Ninjutsu. 4 mana, 2/2, but it gives everything Double Strike. Okay. 2 mana for a 1/2 with Double Strike. That one, okay. That doesn't count. 3 mana, 2/2, Double Strike. I guess the black one's the more interesting one because that's actually the colors we're in right now. Crypt Champion. 4 mana, 2/2 with Double Strike. Huh. The point is, yeah, if anything, this card is pushed. It's certainly not too weak. Let's go. Let's go. Draconic Shredder, you are in. I like it. It's a cool design. I'm very into this design. He is no healer, nor seer, nor holy champion. I hope we get more lizards. That's cool. Are there any, like, lizard, like, people like that? Because, like, Viashino are, like, lizard people, but, like, that's also a very specific thing, right? Horde of the Ursine God is a 2 mana enchantment aura. Enchanted creature has protection from red and from blue. Okay, so I've talked before about how I don't really like protection abilities, but if you're playing with a sideboard and sideboarding between rounds, yeah, that's very strong, I imagine, right? If you're playing against a blue or a red deck, you wouldn't put it in your main deck, but you'd swap it in the middle, you know, between rounds. Okay. Do I want this in my game, though? Right? At the end of the day, this is my set. Even though I don't get to claim ownership of the AI or the stuff it creates, I'm not pretending that I'm a creative genius because I know how to click on a button. But I care about this set. I don't know how to explain it. Whatever. Do I want this in my set? And I don't think I do. I'm not saying it's weak. I'm not saying it's too strong. I'm just saying I don't think I want it. Our common faith sustains us in the harshness of our existence. Ulrich, Prince of the Demigods. Goodbye, Ulrich. Fierce Sovereignty is a 2 mana enchantment aura. Enchant creature. When enchanted creature dies, its controller creates a 1/1 spirit token with flying. If this card had another effect, it would be interesting. But currently, it's just a really, really bad 2 mana 1/1 with flying. Dang it. You make your own ice. In fact, I like to say that you bring your own heat. Pika Rook. Skadi Tribal Elder. Mistform Passage is a 2 mana enchantment that taps for black. That is This is a 2-mana mana rock, but it's an enchantment instead of an artifact. Ah. That's so weird. I don't know why this is such a simple design, and yet it's, like, baffling to me. It's like, what? This is an artifact. What are you doing? This shouldn't be an enchantment. I love this, actually. Rime of the Frost Maiden. When you cast this spell, sacrifice 3 white creatures. Karn, Heart of... Karn said this. I guess. You should really sacrifice 3 creatures if you want to do that. Weird flavor text aside. It's not interesting, but it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I'll allow it. Let's go. Ashmouth Stronghold is a 1-mana black enchantment. As an activated ability, for black mana, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Holy crap, just... Okay. For 3 mana, return Ashmouth Stranglehold to its owner's hand. This card is wild. 1 mana initial overhead, then you can just spend 1 black mana, 1 for 1, to give things +1/+1 until end of turn. You can spread that around. You can give it to a single thing really big. You can do it at instant speed, so you can do it after blockers have been declared. And then, if this is someone tries to remove this, you can spend 3 mana to bounce it to your hand. Is this one too good? There's a lot of really powerful cards in this set. Is this the one? No, I don't think it is the one. I don't think this is the one. With all the powerful cards in this set, I don't think this one's too powerful. But it is scary. If you were stranded here, it would be alright. Motho, Fall of Ashes. Yeah, tell me about Ashmouth Stronghold. I want to know more about that place. Moonveil Ranger is a 4-mana black enchantment creature pharexian shapeshifter, presumably. It's a 4/3. Whenever a player casts a creature spell, if that spell would be put into a graveyard, that player adds black. I don't know what to make of that. What does that mean? Okay, we could move on, but I want to discuss this just because I'm curious. Like, when a player casts a creature spell, if that spell would be put into a graveyard, not this turn, just in general, that player adds black. Is it still a spell once it's hit the battlefield? This isn't like a floating effect, is it? Like, at the time... You know what I think this is? Now, I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. But in my mind, what this says is, when a player casts a creature spell, okay, while it's on the stack, it has this effect of, if instead of going into the battlefield, it goes directly into the graveyard, as in, like, it got countered or something, they get refunded 3 black mana. Which means it protects your stuff, your creatures, from being counterspelled. You don't get to keep the card, but you get a little bit of mana refund. I think that's what this means. And if that is interesting. I don't know if it's good, but it's interesting. If it's not what it means, I have no idea what it means. Either way, I think, on the one hand, I'm not super confident in the rules, so I'm going to re-roll it. On the other hand, it kind of doesn't do anything unless you're playing against blue, and I'm not super interested in those specific type matchups. So I'd probably also re-roll it. So either way, we're going to re-roll this. His mortal eyes did not miss the facts. That's like fax machine. Her pelt thick with hoarfrost. No, that says fox. Never mind. That makes more sense. Cold Zark Zombie is a 4-mana enchantment zombie. A lot of enchantment zombies. I don't know how many of them we've kept. I lose track of the cards I reroll and which ones I don't. 4-mana 2/3. When Cold Zark Zombie enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. More discard effect. Okay. For black and sacrifice Cold Zark Zombie, each opponent loses a life. This sucks. It's a 4-mana 2/3 ETB. Opponent discards a card. You can then sacrifice it later. This might be fine, actually. It's kind of like, it's a lot. 4 mana is a lot, but I'm gonna allow it. Life's all about coming to your aid. Kara Saloon, a Crowan zombie goddess. Ooh, hello. Tell me more. Necropotence. That's a real spell, right? That sounds really familiar. Necropotence is a 4-mana enchantment creature demon. Cool. It's a 3/2 with, when Necropotence enters the battlefield, you may destroy target creature or enchantment. Sweet! Necropotence. As I reflect on your heinous crimes, I realize you are more monstrous than the damned you sicken. Apocalypse Nutshell. Yeah! Improvise is a 1-mana black enchantment aura. Enchant creature. When you cast this spell, reveal the top card of your library. You may put that card into your hand. Do both if the revealed card is a creature card. Cool. I forgot to read the flavor text, sorry. Relentless Pursuit is a 1-mana aura enchantment creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has haste. I've never seen haste have that reminder text. It can attack and tap no matter when it came under your control. I mean, you're correct. I haven't seen it worded that way before. That's funny. I don't know what the going rate for give a creature haste is. It's probably cheaper in, like, red. I think in black, this is totally playable. Like, an extra card in hand and an extra mana to, like, make your giant, terrifying, flying demon have haste. Yeah, I'd play that. That sounds rad. Cool. Why does it have haste? We gave it skis. To avenge their kin, kami families are willing to stop at nothing. Tide's Reach is a 3-mana instant. Search your library for a basic land or swamp. That's cool. It doesn't have to be basic, I guess, if you're calculating a swamp. I like that, actually. Are there existing cards that are worded that way? That's pretty cool. Put it under the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So, 3 mana, instant speed, put a swamp into the battlefield, or a different basic land if you're multicolor, but you don't have the swamp thing. Yeah. I imagine this is pretty well below rate, but oh well. It might be just an old swamp, but to the Etin, it's an untapped wealth. That's cute. I like that. Let's meet the Etin sometime. Trilobite Cacodemon is a 4-mana dinosaur. Trilobite Cacodemon enters the battlefield with a number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the number of colors of mana spent to cast this. It's got Sunburst? Okay. So, this is a minimum, a 4-mana 1/5, which is pretty bad. At maximum, if you're playing in a multicolor deck of the 4 colors, because that's, yeah, unless you have some other way of, you know, increasing the mana cost or something so you can get a 5th color in there. At 4 colors, this is a 4-mana 4/8. That's pretty good, but it's kind of a big ask, and I'm thinking about, like, domain cards that we've seen recently. Huh. I'll allow it. It's interesting. 100 different sets of teeth are the curse of the god. Trilobite Cacodemon. That's so stupid. Razor Cat is a 5-mana cat warrior. Look at how ferocious it is. Ah, sweet. It's a 5-mana 3/2 with First Strike. When Razor Cat enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to target creature and opponent controls. Yeah, this is rad. It ETBs and punches something, and then it has First Strike from then on. She hunts for its kind, only to slaughter their helpless prey. Ah, yeah! I hope we get more cats. Cat warriors. that are just cats. Farsight Thief is a 3-mana elf rogue. There are elves in this set? Okay. It's a 2/1 with tap, untap Farsight Thief. So we've seen this before. If you have something that cares about things being tapped and or untapped, this just goes infinite, triggering that effect. That's rarely useful, but if it is useful, it's like 1-card infinite combo. So or I guess 2-card. If the winter never arrived, the thief would not have such keen vision. Orlando Master Thief. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think it belongs in the set. Next, Triskelion Hauler is a 3-mana 2/2 orc warrior. Whenever Triskelion Hauler or another creature you control dies, you gain 3 life. Okay. They build ornate carts for orcish treasure and cabbage storage. The orcs in this setting seem cool. Orcs care about 2 things, treasure and cabbage. Urborg Swineherd is a 3-mana 2/2 enchantment creature Naga warrior. Whenever Urborg Swineherd or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +2/+1 until end of turn. This card's cool. It's got actual constellation. Nice. Yeah. Naga Raiders scour Urborg to find the greatest treasures. I think that's reasonable for 3 mana, right? Wolf Rider is a 2-mana 3/2 Wolf Spirit. Ooh. Okay, cool. It's not what I was expecting. When Wolf Rider enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So if it wouldn't win the fight, you can choose to not have it fight. It's up to ability. Otherwise, it's a 3/2 for 2. Sweet. To protect the pack, they do as the wolves do. Doesn't feel exceptionally like a black card, but I don't care about that. Frozen Convulsions is a 3-mana aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets -3/-3 as long as its controller controls a snow or frost creature. So it's bad is what you're telling me. At a bare sliver of hope, we embark on a course that may well take us to our deaths. But in death, our honor is set, and we have no need to fear dishonor. Seregbrat the Worthy, Iron Orzhov Loyalist. Huh. Erebos' Crypt is a 3-mana enchantment. When Erebos' Crypt enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a black or a red creature. If you do, search your library for a creature card with mana value equal to that creature's power. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Ooh. So this is effectively just a 3-mana sorcery spell. But it combos with anything that cares about enchantments, which is relevant to the set. I think I'm okay with that. And the fact that it is a, like, you could possibly like flicker this and stuff because it's not a sorcery. I'm into this. This is cool. So it is encouraging you to go black-red. It's not actually giving you a payoff for that, except for that it gives you more options. That's kind of cool. Tutor and directly into the battlefield is very cool. And, of course, if you have something that cares... Is it equal? It's equal! Ooh, that's a limitation. Yeah, search your library for a creature card with mana value equal. Not equal to or less. Okay. I was going to say you could, like, give it +7/+7 till end of turn and sacrifice and stuff like that, right? But... you gotta be exact. All who entered must have their curiosity sated. Only then will the mad god cease his inquisition. Koth of the Hammer. Soul Cage. What is this picture? Soul Cage is a 3-mana black enchantment. It has the activated ability for 3 mana and sacrifice a creature, put a frozen counter on target creature. I feel like this is like a keyword counter. Not a keyword counter, obviously, but like it's like a stun counter, right? It requires reminder text or outside card rules. Obviously, it doesn't have them, so it wouldn't function that way, but that's what this makes me think of, right? This is like 3 mana, sacrifice a creature, put a stun counter on a creature, right? But instead it gives it a useless counter that has no synergy because... I mean, maybe there are things that use frozen counters, don't get me wrong, but it's not relevant in the set, right? In its frozen chamber, the avian creature endures pain as an artifact of its suffering. Let's try again. Phalanx Armament is a 3-mana aura. Enchant creature. You control enchanted creature. When enchanted creature dies, its controller loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. So it triggers life gain and life loss. It's a 3-mana mind control. That's what this is. That's gross. Am I okay with that? A shard of ice shattered under the force of Phalanx's steel. You know, I gotta be honest. It's not as pushed as I was expecting it to be. Don't get me wrong, it's pushed, but... yeah. I think I'll allow it. Huh? 3-mana mind control. A shard of ice shattered under the force of Phalanx's steel. I don't know what that means. Thran the All-Devouring for black is a 2-mana, well, I guess, yeah. Is a 2-mana 2/2 legendary enchantment creature god. One more chance at a god. Let's go. When Thran the All-Devouring enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to target creature an opponent controls, where X is its power. I assume in this situation, its power means Thran's power, not the target creature's power, but I literally have no idea. As a devout worshipper of Yawgmoth, Thran learns his teachings the hard way. Do I re-roll this just because I think it's boring? It's not bad. It's a 2-mana 2/2 that ETB punches something. But it's a legendary enchantment god! But it's also 2 mana. Like, how... Like... How cool and weird should it be if it's 2 mana? I don't... I'm re-rolling it. Mayexna, God of Unnatural Death. For black is a legendary enchantment creature god. They're a star with Mayexna. God of Unnatural Death's power and toughness are each equal to the number of instant and sorcery cards in all graveyards. When zombies arrived, a plague fell upon Urborg. I mean, I think we allow it. That is terrifying. But also, not the easiest thing to get online, but it's also, like, 2 mana so cheap. It's cool because it's not really the... We saw this earlier, right? We saw that card that said, like, look at 3 cards, put creatures in your hand and the rest in the graveyard. That would actually be useful here because you're putting enchantments and sorceries, or instants and sorceries in the graveyard. But yeah, it's better in a Spellslinger blue-red style deck. And this is black, which I think actually makes this card better in a balanced standpoint, right? Like, this card would be stronger in blue-red, but like, did I say blue-black? Blue-red. This would be stronger in blue-red, but it would be probably too strong in blue-red. The fact that it's in black is the only reason I think that's actually kind of reasonable. I like it. I like it. I like it. Oh, it's really cool. God of Unnatural Death. What a, like... That's cool. It's like God of Murder Victims, right? Like, that's rad. Sparks of Volcano is a 3-mana elemental. Ooh. It's a 3/1 for 3. When Sparks of Volcano enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to target creature and each other creature. Wait. I don't know about that. Some pyromaniacs keep them for grills. Others claim to ignite them to make them dance. Bone Mantle Traveler. I like this card. That's so stupid. There are so many push things in this set. Is this where I draw the line? Okay, but what does it mean? It says, it deals 3 damage to target creature and each other creature. Yeah, but is each other... It doesn't hit itself, or it doesn't hit the thing that it's targeting? Oh, so does one thing take 6 damage? And everything else takes 3? Because the other refers to not Sparks of Volcano, right? I think so. So, 2 things. 1, this is too strong. 3 mana, 3 damage to everything, and a 3/1 body. Very, very good. Second thing is, it's gonna cause rules debate, and I just don't want that in my set. Like, there's one correct ruling. I don't think this is incorrectly worded. It's just like, I'm not a judge. You don't need a judge to play the game. Cards should be more straightforward. I'm gonna reroll it. That card was adorable, though. In everything but its actual, like, effect on the game. Frostweaver Geists is a 3-mana, 1/3 human rogue. Okay, sure. Tap. Frostweaver Geists deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. I'm not impressed, but I'll allow it. What I can create is yours for the asking. For the asking? Alright. I mean, I gotta be more willing to have cards that don't excite me, because every set needs some draft chap, you know? It's gotta be in there. Repel the Dark. Black, black, black for an enchantment. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Repel the Dark deals 2 damage to that player unless that player pays black, black. Interesting. So are they going to pay black, black? Probably not. They're not going to pay the 2 in this case. But if this just said at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Repel the Dark deals 2 damage to that player, that would still be good? Like, it doesn't need this drawback. I'm okay with it, though. It's not a very substantial drawback. To survive, you must keep your mind clear of fear and cold. It is cold. It's winter. Faithful Chaplain is a 4-mana, 1/4 human cleric. For 2 mana and tap target creature. Being able to tap things down is actually quite powerful. I sort of always undervalue it. I don't know if this is appropriately costed, but I'm going to allow it. She won't flinch. She won't falter. She will never fail you. I want to take a lot more first rolls moving forward. Ironclad Alpha is a 3-mana, 2/2 human warrior with first strike. Nice. Ironclad Alpha gets +2/+0 as long as you control another red creature. Ooh, more black-red payoff. Interesting. Okay. That is quite good. A 3-mana 4/2 with first strike? I assume that's powerful. I don't know what the going rate is for that. There are 2 sides to every battle. Soontir, champion of House Sigilled. And we're at red. We made it through the remaining blue and all of the black. Do I stop here? Let's see our first red card. Everlasting Grasp is a 4-mana red enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Everlasting Grasp unless you sacrifice 3 or more creatures. This card sucks. My life force is stronger than a mortal's, stronger than ice. Roke of Everlasting Grasp. Now, we've seen all of the black cards, so if you were hoping for like a cool black-red combo thing, and you're like, okay, maybe I'd be willing to play this enchantment because it lets me sacrifice 3 creatures, or more, an infinite number of creatures. Okay, there's something to be said for that, but it's bad. And also, I don't know. Like, I don't think there was enough payoff for sacrifice, honestly. There's that one card that cared about creatures dying, but we didn't end up with a lot of token generators. Maybe in red, there's going to be a whole bunch of like Goblin tokens or something, and that would be a really cool like black-red combo. But yeah, I don't know. I think we can agree this card's going to get re-rolled, and that I think is the perfect place to end this episode. We will start the red cards next time, starting with our 4-mana enchantment. I've been Darcy Bits. Have a good night, everyone. I will catch you next time. Don't forget, we are doing 3 recording sessions, 3 videos, whatever. 3 a week, starting now. So look forward to a new video on Wednesday at 3 Eastern Time. And another on Friday at 3 Eastern Time. This week, we are going to get through this set. I can't wait. Thank you all for joining me. I've been Darcy Bits. Have a good night.